It's Friday, April 26th. This is the news on PBCJ. I'm Simone Absalom. National Water Commission (NWC) is reporting that several of its systems across the island are being affected by worsening drought conditions. In addition to the sharp decline in levels at the NWC's largest storage facilities, Mona and Constant Spring, the Commission said there are several systems that have been experiencing a significant reduction in inflows. The NWC said reports up to Wednesday show a drastic decline in water available for distribution from systems in rural St. Andrew. The NWC said the effects of dry conditions and reduced rainfall are also being observed at several plants in central and western Jamaica. Jamaica Public Service (JPS) is reporting that it has improved the reliability of its service by approximately 50% over the past 4 years, from 2014 to 2018, with a Jamaican $650 million investment in modernizing the grid over the period. According to JPS, customers would have seen a decline in the number of service interruptions for the year, from an average of 19.2 outages in 2014 to 9.7 in 2018, a drop of roughly 50%. JPS added that the average duration of outages experienced annually has fallen over the same period, from 41.2 hours in 2014 to 27.1 hours in 2018, a reduction of 34%. The investment included installing smart devices on the distribution network, which have allowed JPS to quickly locate faults on the system and create virtual self-healing capabilities for the grid, facilitating more reliable power supply to homes, businesses, and public lighting. The company said those comments in a release yesterday. The statement also said the grid modernization program will continue with the increased use of smart technologies, making it comparable to any in the world. Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clarke yesterday defended the central bank's foreign exchange management, batting aside criticism of currency volatility and reaffirming that the floating rate model is here to stay. There have been concerns in the public about fluctuation of the Jamaican dollar against the greenback, the last slide registering an 8% decline in less than a month. Dr. Clarke, who was the keynote speaker at the official opening of the Victoria Mutual Financial Centre in Fairview, Montego Bay on Wednesday night, warned members of the banking sector to ignore detractors who sought to apply undue pressure on the Bank of Jamaica's oversight of foreign exchange movements. He is quoted saying in the Jamaican Gleaner, "When you hear persons trying to extend pressure on to your central bank that has your reserve, that guarantees your stability, that guarantees your security, that undergrids and underwrites your prosperity, that reinforces and provides the foundation to your economic opportunity, you must look at them with suspicion." End quote. Clarke defended the floating exchange rate as the most viable currency mechanism, a view that has the favor of the International Monetary Fund, the IMF. According to Clarke, in 2015, the BOJ sold on net basis approximately $650 million into the market, 865 in 2016 and 585 million in 2017. Intervention from the central bank in 2018 was approximately $80 million. A multi-agency technical working group has been established to thoroughly investigate the concerns surrounding the use of ROUNDUP herbicide in Jamaica. Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries Minister Audley Shaw, speaking at a post-sectorial press briefing this week, said the group was constituted after the matter was brought to the Health Ministry, which houses the responsible authority for regulating such substances. ROUNDUP is a brand name for one of about 12 herbicides used locally containing the chemical glyphosate. There have been reports that the chemical has the potential to cause cancer. However, Mr. Shaw said the international studies conducted on whether the herbicide is carcinogenic have proven inconclusive, although a few studies have pointed to probable cancer-causing properties. Mr. Shaw is urging farmers to exercise extreme caution when utilizing chemical and to read labels carefully. The National Housing Trust (NHT) is expressing pleasure with the response of developers to its Guaranteed Purchase Program, GPP. GPP is a new initiative through which the NHT agrees to purchase houses for its customers that are designed and constructed by private builders. NHT Managing Director Martin Miller noted that the agency has already met with about 30 developers with 5 projects approved, while 4 others are being reviewed. The approved projects, which will deliver 2,143 new homes, comprise 2,050 1- and 2-bedroom units in St. Catherine, another 41 in Westmoreland, and 52 2-bedroom houses in St. Elizabeth. Mr. Martin was speaking at the breaking of ground for the first project under the initiative at Silver Sun Estate in Innswood, St. Catherine on Wednesday. The development involves the construction of 1,200 2-bedroom houses by West Indies Home Contractors Limited, WICON, which will be sold through the NHT. The government will review the Bernard Lodge City project. Speaking at the groundbreaking of the Silver Sun Estate housing project on Wednesday, Prime Minister Andrew Holness revealed that his decision was triggered by outcry about huge infrastructural costs and forfeiture of prime farmland, as well as concerns about potentially long travel times between St. Catherine site and Kingston.
And there is always, whenever developments are considered, the issue of the utilization of land. Should we be using land for housing which is, good agricultural land? How will it affect the aquifer and the other development and environmental concerns? And it is something that I'm very sensitive to. And it is never easy. But the nation must never lose sight of the ultimate goal. And the ultimate goal is to provide shelter in an orderly way and in a sustainable way. So, I will say more on the Bernard Lodge issue. I've requested a full brief since I'd launched the program. It has advanced, so I want to see where they are with it because the public concerns need to be addressed. But I wish to hear say that I am very concerned about the sprawling nature of housing development in Jamaica, of residential development. So the way in which land prices have evolved, it is cheaper for developers to go out of the central areas, out of the urban areas, to find cheaper lands in order to bring down prices. The problem with that is that the farther you go from the center of established development, your capital cost for service delivery and maintenance increases.
In a statement issued by his office yesterday, opposition leader Dr. Peter Phillips said that the study should go beyond the spatial and transport concerns outlined by the Prime Minister and reference technical issues mentioned by hydrogeologists and other experts. He also wants full transparency around the details of the divestment process managed by the Sugar Company of Jamaica in selling the land. The US dollar on April 25 ended trading at Jamaican $134.58, up by 18 cents. That's according to the Bank of Jamaica's daily foreign exchange trading summary. The Canadian dollar ended trading at Jamaican $100.34, down from $101.23, while the British pound sterling ended trading at Jamaican $173.04, down from $173.39. In regional news, British Virgin Island Premier Andrew Fahey says he has been receiving death threats since his Virgin Islands party won the general elections in February. He made the revelation as he addressed the Parliament on Thursday.
He was advised by the local police to get bodyguards. In a message directed to persons he described as the three entities behind the threat, Faye said, quote, "I will not be intimidated by you. You will not frighten me," end quote. He further said his bodyguards have been advised to use lethal force against any would-be attackers. Now, the Premier says even before being elected, there had been prophecies from religious leaders that he would lead the territory, and that came to pass. He said the death threats to his life have also been prophesied, and he was not going to take the threats lightly.
One regional hotelier is warning that tourism in the Caribbean would be greatly affected if carrier Liat were to collapse. More in this report.
Caribbean countries are being warned that there will be dire consequences for the tourism industry if regional carrier Liat folds. That warning follows recent statements from St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister, Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, that the closure of Liat was imminent unless the airline received a $5.4 million cash injection. CEO of the Barbados Hotel and Tourism Association, Rudy Grant, says Liat is critical to the region's economy.
For many of the CARICOM countries, Liat is responsible for transporting the majority of their visitors. And let me just explain that many of these countries provide support to their international carriers, be it Virgin, British Airways, WestJet, Air Canada, JetBlue.
Meanwhile, Antigua and Barbuda's Prime Minister Gaston Brown says his government will not allow Liat to fail as a result of its current financial difficulties. He also gave assurances that Antigua's contribution will be paid.
In sports, the United States and Jamaica will renew their ongoing rivalry when they face off in the international friendly in June. The Jamaica Football Federation has confirmed the June 5 friendly at the Audi Field in Washington. The game comes days before the start of the CONCACAF Gold Cup. The Reggae Boys are drawn in Group C for the tournament alongside Curacao, Honduras, and El Salvador. That's the news on PBCJ. I'm Simone Absalom. Pleasant viewing.